What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. Week 4. We are doing our start sit full game breakdowns tonight. It is Friday night, so trying to roll those sleeves up right now to get everything started. First, just want to do a quick quick show rundown. We're going to be doing start sits and full game breakdowns. Make sure when you guys are asking your start sit questions, just be very, descriptive of what you're talking about. We definitely want to know, the format. I want to know, full names if you can or initials. Just makes things a little bit easier when we're going down and breaking these things, down for everybody. We will be, going game by game. So try to, save your questions per game. And at the end, or if it's, part of what we're talking about, we'll definitely get that question in. I'm here to help you guys. I don't want to be talking the whole time about just regular crap. I need you guys to help me out. So we are here for you guys to help you with your lineups. So make sure you guys get that in. Also, a little, quick thing for those in Florida. Uh, my prayers are out for all you guys out there, Fort Lee, all that, that full area, or Fort Myers out there. I mean, everybody's, having a really rough time. So I hope everyone is doing fine out in Florida. And now in South Carolina, they're getting hit too. So hope everybody is doing okay. And my prayers are out to all the people down there. So yeah. Um, Also, real quick, just to get into our normal stuff, just to want to break down that, of course, there's Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you guys check them out. We'll talk about them a little bit more as we go through the show, but make sure you guys are using the promo code Get Right. And when you use the promo code Get Right, they will match whatever you do with your first deposit up to $100. Right now, Best Ball Resurrection is back. $10 entry. It's a chance to win $100,000. It goes through weeks 6 through 17, so make sure you get your lineups in before then. Also, they have pick 'em with insurance now with over-unders and rivalry picks. Basically who will score the most points, TDs, receptions, yards, all good props, all great props. I highly recommend it for all those who are into that type of stuff. We really want, I really recommend it. I love it. I use it every week. What up to everybody in the chat? George, LeBron, what's going on? Jonathan Smith, stranded on second with Tony Clark. What up, man? Will Hayes, glad to see you guys here tonight. Also, make sure you guys check out our affiliate podcast with the Checkdown Podcast with Cody McGoats. They are on usually every Wednesday night at 8:30, so make sure you guys check them out. They're usually on a little bit before we do our show on Wednesday nights. Also, check out Colin at WAGMIFantasy.com and at WAGMI Fantasy on Twitter. He has great articles. It's a great website, also a weekly article as well that he sends out for everybody. So please check them out. They are great sources for you guys to use as well. First, we're going to just break down this Thursday night game. And the big elephant in the room is, of course, the Tua incident. I mean, this pretty much this overshadowed the whole game. The NFL should be ashamed. The Dolphins should be ashamed. Everyone should be ashamed of themselves in this particular scenario. Clearly this was a concussion, that was, it definitely happened on Sunday. He should have been pulled from that game. And I agree with Jonathan Smith. Someone needs to be fired. I mean, you can't go into Sunday with saying that it's a head injury, changing it to a back injury. I just don't get it. And then they said during, at one point that they were checking him for concussion protocol throughout the week. So was he in percussion protocol? In concussion protocol? It didn't seem to be because they didn't talk about it at all. So it's very sad for Tua. My prayers are up for him, as well. I hope he's doing okay. I mean, that looked bad either way you put it. It's not a good look for the NFL at all after doing this whole thing with the crazy helmets and stuff. Oh, it's okay, Aunt. No worries. Sorry I couldn't be there with you, brother. Watching my son's high school game, of course. Aunt will be here next week. Don't you worry. And he will, be jumping in on other nights, other days as well. I'll be back here on Sunday morning for our, actives and inactives. We also we have the early game. I will be coming in around halftime. So, just for those who are aware. So beyond the whole Tua situation, which was, like I said, disappointing and a little upsetting, the second part of this is, the big story the two big stories are the backfields for both these teams is Miami's backfield. I mean, from Adam Levitan, I mean, he broke down the last two games for the running backs, and it looks like it's Raheem Mostert. I mean, Mostert has 70 snaps, 23 carries, 37 routes run, with Chase Edmonds with 37 snaps, 11 carries, and 17 routes won. Chase Edmonds is leading in the touchdown department, but he does not have the snaps and is not on the field as much as we thought he would since week one. So it looks like Raheem Mostert is the guy to get over there. Also, the next thing is Joe Mixon. I mean, Jesus Christ, this guy was 24 for 60, had the touchdown, was used in the passing game, only gets one touchdown out of the 24 carries. He had tons of time in the red zone and just barely touched anything. I mean, he leads the NFL with 14 carries within the 10-yard line. He has 7 carries within the 5-yard line. This is another stat from Adam Levitan. I mean, 24 targets for a 15.4% share. I mean, it is insane. Insane right now. I don't understand it. But hopefully that usage continues. Now we got a big list of people that are going to be out on Sunday. We already have it kind of out already, which was kind of, it's great to hear. Right now we have Amon St. Brown from the Detroit Lions and ndreSwift. They're going to both be out of this game. Now we're going to talk more about injuries as we go along, but I figured I'd let you know ahead of time. Keenan Allen will be out. David Montgomery, Michael Thomas, Dak Prescott, Mac Jones, which I'm a little surprised about. He should be out, or he should have been out already. I don't know why they tried to push him to go in. Hunter Renfrow and Foster Moreau will be out. All the Giants receivers except for Richie James will be out. I mean, unless you want to include Kenny Galladay in that. Boston Scott will be out for the Philadelphia Eagles. AJ Green out for the Cardinals. Jake Kumaro for the Bills, and Belvin Jordan for the Texans. So that's our list right now. We got George in the house asking our first question. He goes, Zach Ertz or T Hop in PPR start one? It's a great question. I got to stick with Ertz. I mean, he's the tight end 3 right now, unbelievably. People wanted to get rid of him after week 1. Now he's the tight end 3. Hawk is a little bit farther down the list, but Hawk isn't a horrible play either. With the injuries to Amon St. Brown, I mean, it's really DJ Chark, who's also injured. And they also have Josh Reynolds as well. So both of these aren't horrible plays. I'm going to probably stick with Ertz. He's just more reliable, more known, and a little bit more, in this case, he's been targeted over. I think he's been targeted over 10 times in every game. So, except for week 1. So I would stick with Ertz for now. Will Hayes. Who should I play in my flex? Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, Melvin Gordon, or DJ Moore? Now, I'm going to take Stevenson and Gordon out of this. And then for me, it's really between Josh Jacobs and DJ Moore. For that particular scenario, let me break down who they're playing real quick. We're going to get into these games a little bit more in detail in a few minutes. Broncos are Broncos are 8th against the run right now. So for me, I'd probably be a little bit more towards DJ Moore, but honestly, man, the stuff that's coming out with DJ Moore and Baker, I don't know, man. I think I might stick with Jacobs. More guaranteed touches and a better scenario. The Ravens or the Raiders are favored in this game, so could lead to positive game script, which could go Josh Jacobs' way. So, Jonathan Smith says it's the Patriots way. Never say never. Yeah, no, I know. I just can't. I can't trust either one of them. So Jonathan goes, "What should I do since Amon St. Brown is out and Michael Thomas and Keenan Allen and maybe Gabe Davis?" Now, you asked this question in the chat this afternoon for our sleeper channel. Our sleeper channel is below. Make sure you guys check out the description below. We have a wonderful sleeper channel for everybody. It's free. I do injury reports all week long. I give you guys the inside scoop so that you can get ahead in your league. I'm going to tell you right now, he says, I have Sutton, Garrett Wilson, or should I take Godwin off waivers and drop Wilson? Now, you're going to play Cortland Sutton, and I think you should play Cortland Sutton over Gabe Davis regardless. I like Gabe Davis a lot. I'm a huge fan. You guys all know how much I love Gabe Davis. And since I'm even bringing it up, we are 95 subscribers away from this 600 subscriber giveaway, a signed Gabe Davis jersey. So make sure you guys get your friends in there. We only have 95 to go. You guys have been doing an awesome job. I'm really, we've just been increasing and loving it. So make sure you guys reach out to more people, get more people involved, and we can get this jersey given away. That's what we want to do at this moment. So back to your comment. So I have Sutton and Garrett Wilson, or should I take Godwin off the waivers and drop Wilson? I saw what you said, but I think I worded it wrong, so I wanted to ask again. No worries. I'd still stick with Sutton here. I don't think you have to really do anything. I don't think I'm not a proponent about taking a guy that's hurt and waiting on him. Godwin, yeah, he's a very talented receiver. He's with Tom Brady. Really good scenario. Garrett Wilson is an up-and-comer. He has a little bit more upside in the context that he could definitely just soar at one point if they use him correctly. I'm going to I would rather take a shot at Garrett Wilson for now. And just there's a reason why Godwin's on the waivers. Like, he's going to be hurt. He's not going to play this week. He's out for this game. So you don't need him. And if you're trying to get him before waivers, would I drop Wilson for him? Maybe. Just maybe. I think you would have other options that you can drop other than Wilson. I think that Wilson might be the better ad in this case. And just, I think for me, Godwin is like that time bomb. Like, he's a mind that, no one should be touching. So George says, if I trade Marquise Brown, who should I be looking to get? Well, since, Marquise has been having a couple good weeks, I mean, technically he's really a mid-range wide receiver too. I don't really know the context of your team. I need to know a lot more about that to be able to help you. I need to know, your structure of your team, running backs, who you need, all that stuff. And it's also based on your league. Look around and see what you can get for him in a way is what I tell people is he's available. If anyone wants him, throw me an offer and just put it in your group chat, or whatever way you guys have it set up, and have them come to you and see what they want to do. But who should you be looking for? I mean, maybe a low end or high end RB2. That's probably, the highest I'd go for him. I'd be happy with a mid-range RB2 if that's what you're looking to get. So, also, Jonathan Smith says, also pick 2, James Conner, Najee, and Javonte. All right. So let me take a look real quick, see what we got. Panthers. Let's see. Panthers are... they're average against the run. So to go back to George Labram's question, LeBron, sorry, brother. Yeah, I would just keep who you have. Don't play around too much. You have a good roster. Just let it be. If anything, I mean, you have good running backs with Fournette, Connor, AJ Dillon, Pollard, good wide receivers, Jefferson, Evans, and Kirk. Just keep them for now. It's good depth. I wouldn't look to trade them yet. So picking two here, I'm definitely going to go Javante. I trust him more in his usage against the Raiders. Raiders to me, I'm looking right now. They're about middle of the pack against the run. So George thinks that he feels like Marquise is the highest value right now. Yes, I agree, he is. But you're going to only be able to get a running back two out of it, and you already have that for the most part. I think you're pretty good for what you have. I would just stick to what you got. I'm telling you. There's no need to make moves every week. You just got to kind of stick with what you got sometimes. So Jonathan Smith adds that and since I'm 0 and 4, what would you recommend I do? Like my roster, just they just aren't putting up the points that I expected yet. AKA Javante Henry, Najee. Yeah, you got 0 and 3. Don't think ahead. We want to keep you moving forward. There's not much you can really do with what you have. I mean, Javante, Henry, and Najee are great picks. Keenan Allen's going to be back eventually. I think he might be a little bit longer than people think. He did. I think he tweaked his hammy again in practice. They had him walking off with a trainer after practice. He got a limited one in, I think, yesterday or today. So I would just be wary of that. Dak being hurt, I mean, you'll get him back in 2 weeks. I don't see him coming back next week. If he does come back, he's not going to be himself. I would wait a week. Overall, I think that right now there's not much you can do, with what you got. I mean, Connor, Javante, um, Najee. I mean, I'd feel comfortable playing Najee this week, so it would probably be Henry, Javante, and Najee over Connor. That's just me, though. I think Najee should be okay, but that line really scares me. I don't see them making any holes, and I do think the Jets are actually a little bit better than you think. But I'm going to stick with Najee here and Javante for your first question there. That's tough to be 0 4 after we. Yeah, good one, Ross. So, AJ, what up, man? How you doing? Isaiah McKenzie or Josh Reynolds with Amon St. Brown out and Chark questionable. Also, Josh Reynolds is questionable as well. So if you want to run that route, I would probably go with Isaiah McKenzie in this particular scenario. I like McKenzie a little bit more just because Baltimore has been weak against the pass. So I think McKenzie might be the better play in this scenario. I do think Chark plays as well. I don't think he's going to sit this one out. John Smith says, I count out last week losing by 0.9. Ooh. Oh, my Lord. I don't blame you. Ugh. George LeBarm goes, my opponent has Aaron Jones. Should I start Dylan at my flex over Kirk? And Marquise Brown, Packers running backs have good matchup this week against Mac Jones-less Packers or Patriots team that should be positive game script. I agree 100%. I would be okay with playing Dylan in the flex. I do like Kirk, but unfortunately not this week. The Eagles will shut him down. Marquise Brown might have a decent go against the Panthers, so it would be between Dylan and Brown. And, Brown had 17 targets last week. For me, I'd probably go with Dylan just because I think Dylan's the floor play for you, and Marquise Brown is the ceiling play. So if you need a ton of points, you're down. That's for me, I would definitely stick with Dylan. I'm a little more conservative. Brown is a little bit more of a risk, in my opinion, but not a bad risk because he's he's going to be heavily targeted in that game. So Jonathan Smith says, "What are your thoughts on James Robinson rest of season? I know it's kind of early, but I kind of want to go for him. Should I?" Hey, what's up, Albert? How you doing, brother? So funny story is, I actually just traded for James Robinson in in my keeper league, my big league. I was very happy to get him. I didn't think I would. The owner and I are not the we do not get along well, but we were able to work this one out. So I was very happy. I gave him Brandon Cooks and Melvin Gordon, and I got him. So, and a ninth round pick, but that's here nor that's here nor there. So for me, I'm very happy to have the third best running back in the league at this point. So yeah, I think he should be fine. The team is running on all they're running well on all cylinders. That to me, they're a very sneaky team this year, and you guys should be be aware. Jags are going to do something this year. Sorry about that. All right. So let's get started and break these games down. First, we have the early game. The early game is going to be the Minnesota Vikings at the New Orleans Saints. They're going to be in London right now. The Vikings are favored by 3. Now, this line changed a little bit just because of the changes that we're going to be talking about in a minute. But the over-under is 41.5. So as we discussed in the beginning, Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston, Winston, they will both be out for this game. Dalvin Cook was removed from the injury report. He's going to be fine. He'll be playing. So if you thought you could play Alexander Madison, get him out of your lineup. Andy Dalton will be taking over for the New Orleans Saints. I see this as a good matchup for Alvin Kamara. I actually have Kamara ranked at RB11. So I see him as a really good play this week. Landry should be okay as well. Taysom Hill might be a really fun DFS play if you can play him at the tight end position. I'm not starting Andy Dalton, even though Jonathan Smith is saying Andy Dalton QB4 this week, by the way. I don't know about that, but I'm not playing Andy Dalton this week. Not what I'm doing. Cook is going to be going against the 18th best against the run, so I feel Cook should be fine. Like I said, I see big things from Kamara. Minnesota is 30th against the run. I just really feel strongly about that. I disagree with this, Jonathan. I actually think Landry might be. Yeah, Olave should be a great play this week, from what Jonathan says. I don't agree. I actually think that Jarvis Landry should be a better pick just because of the underneath routes. Andy Dalton's going to check down more than once. He's not really a downfield thrower. Chris Olave leads in air yardage, so I don't see that being the case. Yeah. George LeBron goes, I could probably get going back to our James Robinson. If I traded AJ Dillon and Marquise, is that value for me? J-Rob would be my flex. I think you're giving up too much with the AJ Dillon and Marquise for J-Rob. I think that's a lot for someone like James Robinson. I like James Robinson a lot, but I would kind of lower the offer a little bit. You want to just go Marquise Brown for J-Rob, you can try there and go, from there. But I think A-Rob is definitely AJ Dillon is definitely one of those people. I would add maybe Pollard instead. Like Pollard and Marquise Brown for AJ or for James Robinson, I might be a little bit more willing to do as the owner trading away people. I don't want to give up AJ Dillon. Just don't give up AJ Dillon. So that's the Minnesota game. We're going to move on from there and move on to the Cleveland Browns at the Atlanta Falcons. The Browns are favored by 1. The over-under is 47.5, so a decent over under for this particular game. Cordero Patterson is questionable for this week. From what I'm looking at, he didn't practice until Friday and it was limited. So just be aware of that. He did kind of mention that he would play, just a wink, wink that he'd play. Browns are a little banged up on the defensive side of the ball with Garrett and Clowney. So be aware of that. David Njoku as well. He was kind of did not practice, then limited. So just be aware of those little tiny things. Cooper's fine. Everyone else seems to be okay on the Browns side of the ball. I think Cooper is actually a solid start this week. Falcons are 24th ranked against the the pass defense. Chubb is a must start. Brissett is a low end QB2. Mariota low high end QB2. I think you can start London and Pitts with confidence. I think this is a good play for them. Patterson is the RB4 on the season, which is unbelievable. So it might be hard not to start him this week if he's active. So if you're probably going to be starting him either way. Cleveland is bottom half of the league in rushing defense. So I think he's more of a flex play than he is an RB2 play. So that's my thoughts on that game. I don't think many people have many thoughts about this game. So the Bills and the Ravens are next on our list. So the Bills will be at the Ravens. Bills are favored by 3. The over-under is 51 points. Big point spread in the highest of the week. They see, Vegas sees this as going to be a high-scoring game. Of course, the biggest question marks in this game are Gabe Davis and J.K. Dobbins. Now, just to give you a little perspective, last week when J.K. Dobbins came back, he was a little bit of on a pitch count. They gave him 7 touches or more. I didn't look at the receptions, but he definitely got a couple. He got at least 12. That's what, Sal Paolantonio said, that he would get at least 12. So Justice Hill did get a little bit of a better run. I mean, he had 6 carries for 60 yards, while Dobbins was 7 for 23. Dobbins' workload should go up. We'll see what happens in this game, but I wouldn't want to start him against, the Bills. They're really good against the run. So I'm pretty much sitting J.K. Dobbins in this particular matchup. Gabe Davis did say he's going to play, even though he played, last week and he was questionable. He was out there 96% of the snaps, which is actually pretty crazy considering, he was I wouldn't say pretty hobbled, but he didn't really get much. He had 6 targets for 3 catches on 6 targets. Didn't really do much with them. Baltimore is weak against the pass, so you can throw him in your flex. I think he'll be fine. As AJ pointed out before about Isaiah McKenzie, I think he'll be a decent play as well with Jay Kumaro out. And, just less competition all around for the passing game for the Bills. And, I think they're going to stick more to a passing game. Even though with Mike Pierce out on IR, they might try to run the ball instead. Devin Singletary is a solid option moving forward. I think he's a good flex play if you have the room. All right. Next game is the Washington Commanders at the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by 3.5. Wow. Over-under is 41.5. Cooper Rush doing well. I was actually at the Giants and Cowboys game. Got to see a little bit of Cooper Rush. And, they won, so I can't really say much. But it was, a good game nonetheless. Little tough to see Shepard go down, though. So Michael Gallup will be making his debut. I'm not starting Gallup this week. Kind of want to see him move in and, kind of get used to everything, get his legs back from underneath him. As we saw from, Chris Godwin, come back too early, you're going to get some injuries, and soft tissue is usually the first thing that comes up. So I'd give Gallup a week and see what happens. Most likely he'll be a full go, but I think they're going to ease him in. Dalton Schultz is going to be listed as questionable, but it's a positive thing that he practiced this week. He had 3 limited practices, if memory serves me. Let me just double check my math here. Yeah, he had 3 limited practices, which is good. It means he's more on. It's more of a positive that he might play, but I'm still going to kind of fade him a little bit. I'd rather take other options at the moment. especially since they haven't been targeting the tight end lately. Dak will be out. It's going to be another few weeks. Do not listen to Jerry Jones. He is not coming back next week. He might be back the week after. So just be aware of that. For the Cowboys, the other part of it, I think right now Zeke is a solid low end too, and I think Pollard is a flex play. So if you need them, use them. I think they're fine. Curtis Samuel, I think, will be a decent play. Antonio Gibson might be a decent play as well. So those are the guys that I'm probably going to be playing. You can move on from Logan Thomas after last week. Terry McLaurin should be fine. I'm not really worried about him. He's going to be going against Trayvon Diggs. He should be fine. But it's Carson Wentz throwing the ball, who I'm probably not playing. And same thing with Cooper Rush. So George LeBron goes, thoughts on Drake London rest of season PPR? I think he's going to be solid. I mean, the numbers show that he's being targeted consistently on his routes. I forgot the numbers off the top of my head. Since last week, I think, where is he on this list? He ran 28 routes and was targeted on 11 of them. So he's up there. He's like fifth best on target, on targets per reception, or sorry, targets per route run. And that's as of week 2. I'm looking at old stats. I got to kind of update my numbers here. But from what I can see from that, I mean, that's pretty good usage. I think he'll be fine. I think Drake London put himself into a really good position to do well. So, yeah, he's still fifth with 78 routes run with 24 targets at 30%, which is pretty good. So, keep him going. George Brown goes, so A-Rob and London for Marquise and A.J. Dillon, or still too much? No, I think that's actually pretty even. I think you're winning that either way, but I don't know if the other person does it. But I think it's a pretty fair trade. All right, moving on to the Seattle Seahawks. So we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Lions are favored by 3.5, even though they are short. They're 2 playmakers. The over/under is 48 points, which is a pretty high number considering. So like I said, the big news is Amon St. Brown and ndreSwift are going to be both out for this game. DJ Chark has been limited all week and is questionable, as well as Josh Reynolds, who popped up on the report today as questionable as well. So the biggest question is, so do you play Chark or do you play Josh Reynolds? I think Chark is a decent play. I think Reynolds is a decent play too. I think Seattle Seattle's 31st worst. They are the worst in the league at pass defense. I'd be okay with playing either one of them. It's going to be the number one option, unless you think Hawk is going to be that guy. I honestly think it's the other way around. They all Jamal Williams is going to be a top. I mean, I have him at running back 12 this week. I think he's going to be a smash play, DFS, all different types of things. So definitely roll him out. He will be used often. I think they're going to use him throughout the time. He's the running back 7 right now on the year, which is fantastic. If you are one of those late round or 0 RB guys, good for you. On the other side of the ball for Seattle, I think Peyton, Rashad Penny is a decent play. I think he's underwhelming. He's more of a flex play, if anything. He's still getting elite usage, so I think he's okay. I think a really sneaky pick is Lockett. He's had 11 targets on the last 2 games. I think he's still being utilized pretty well. I think DK, you're starting regardless. I think you have no other choice. So those are who I would play in those scenarios. I also, like I said, I think Hawkinson is a good play as well this week. Georgia Brom goes, thoughts on Breece Hall? I think Breece Hall is fine. He's mediocre at this point. He's a low-end RB2 flex play. So, I have him at running back running back 30, which is about where it is. Drunk Squidward, what's going on, brother? So I have him about running back 30 on this week. Rest of the season, he's about there too, maybe a couple steps higher. He's being used. They're kind of spreading the ball out. They're kind of like every team right now with spreading the love with the running backs. So I would take a second. Drunk Squid, we were just talking about the Detroit Lions. You popped in at the right time. What about DJ Chark since Amon St. Brown is out? I am cool with DJ Chark. I'm rolling him out in a few leagues. I had to choose between Chark and Robinson. I'm going Chark. You know, I don't trust Robinson in that offense, and I think number one, I'm going with him. So that's who I'm sticking with. All right, moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers at the Houston Texans. Chargers are favored by 5.5. The over-under is 45. It's still 5.5, even though Keenan Allen is ruled out. This is the third game in a row that he's been ruled out. And like I said in the beginning, it looks like it got worse. He was carried off by trainers. So just be aware of that as well. Herbert practiced in full. Let me just double check my math here. Make sure he practiced in full. Oh, yeah, Thursday and Friday. So that's a good thing for Justin Herbert. He should be good to go. And it looks like he's feeling a lot better since he got hit. I feel a little bit more confident against him, especially against Houston, even though they are one of the top 10 defenses against the pass, which is a little odd to think. But they are doing well against it. I know their corners are they got Stingley Singleton. No, I'm going to say his name wrong. So I forgot where he was from. Anyway, I think he was from Alabama. Singleton, something like that. It is what it is. Either way, I'm confident in Herbert. I would be fine with Mike Williams and Eckler as well. I as an Eckler owner I've been learning to lower my expectations. Lately, they have a three-headed monster, unfortunately, over there. He still leads in snaps. He still leads in touches. It's a 60% share to the 2020 from the other two. Everett is still a solid play as well. On the Houston side of the ball, I think in some situations you're going to want to play Brandon Cooks. You're also going to play Damon Pierce. I think Damon Pierce is a decent play. He's getting the usage now. Joey Bosa is not there, so that should help as well. What's going on, Humaza? If I got that wrong, I'm really sorry. Start the Colts defense or the Lions? That's a great question. I think it's hard to start the Colts, even though Darius Leonard is going to be back. Shaquille Leonard will be back for this particular one. I think Detroit actually has a pretty sneaky defense as well. I think I'm going to go with, and they have the same, they're favored the same. The points are a little bit lower in the Colts Tennessee game. I think I might take a run at the Lions over the Colts in this particular scenario. I don't trust Derrick. Derrick Henry can break any team, and he knows this team well. So I think I'm gonna stick with this. Lucius, what's going on? What do you think about Henry versus Jonathan Taylor rest of season? Oof. I think Taylor is going to be fine. Derrick Henry had a slow start. Of course, it's not cold yet. Got to wait for the Yeti to get his skin back. He usually does well a little bit later in the season once teams are a little bit more broken down. But I think Henry and JT should be fine. I think they're both going to be solid plays for the rest of the year. It's just one of those things where you have to worry about the line of both teams. They both have been diminished. I do think that the Colts are a little bit better of a line or O-line than the Tennessee Titans at this point. I think the Titans are really devastated with the Taylor Lewan being out for the season and not much going on, for the rest of the line. So for me, Jonathan Taylor just has to step up in that particular, situation. They'll be fine moving forward. Don't stress. James Robinson is such a sleeper. I agree, Drunk Squidward. We were just talking about him before you hopped on. All right, moving forward, we're going to move on to the Tennessee Titans, who we were just talking about at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are favored by 3.5. The over/under is 43 points. No major injuries to report here. Everyone's doing pretty well in this particular situation. I think you can really play anybody other than Tannehill. I feel confident in Pittman and JT, as well as Henry and Burks. Um, Matt Ryan, you can play in this situation if you lost out on Jameis Winston. I think that in this particular scenario, I think Tannehill, or I think Matt Ryan should be fine. Um, Not much to really say about this game. This game is, kind of a boring one in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. I think Pittman will get most of the touches, most of the targets. JT will get most of the run. Henry, same thing. I think Burks is moving into his own, so hopefully he should be fine. George LeBron goes, I think I'm going to start TJ Hawkinson over Ertz this week. Much better matchup and should be the only target on a good Lions offense. Okay, man, go for it. I'm not going to say that you can't. I mean, I think I have Hawk and Ertz right next to each other in my rankings, if I remember doing them. I have Hawk at 7, Ertz at 4. So I have Ertz a little bit higher, but that's just me. Like I said, at the end of the day, this is your choice. You do you. It's not a bad decision. So Drunk Squidward goes, who's the number 2 receiver on the Colts? Is it Alec Pierce? That's I think everyone's asking that question because no one knows. For me, I'm not 100% sure who the second receiver is. I thought it was Paris Campbell. I guess I'm wrong. It might be Doolin for all I know. But they drafted him with decent capital. He should be next in line. Lucius, what's going on, man? Appreciate the insight. I'm the Henry owner. Just had the JT owner a little upset about his start, and they are asking about a swap. Okay. I think that JT, I honestly like JT a little more. He's a little more durable. He's a little more sturdy. Volume's always there. It's also the type of league you're in. If it's PPR, I'd probably stay with JT, even though we saw last week that Henry got a couple of catches. They were really just like quick, curl routes. For me, I think JT should be fine moving forward over Henry, but Henry, I think, should be fine on his own. He gets volume. His volume is what helps him, but he's kind of like mixing in a way. 24 carries for 60 yards is what you'll see, and then a touchdown. And then there are games that he'll have 24 for 150 and 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, I think Henry's just fine. Just don't stress too much about it. Stick with your studs. Don't, the trade is really minute at this point. So I think either way, I think you're good. So LeBron goes, this is my current starting roster for week 4. Lamar, Fournette, Connor, Jefferson and Evans, T-Hawk, and A.J. Dillon as my flex with Marquise and Kirk. Perfect. I don't see any problem with that. I like that lineup. Warrior Loft, what's going on? If, key term in this sentence, if CMC is active, are you nervous to play him? He is not 100% and the Panthers might limit his snaps. Would you play CMC versus Arizona or a healthy Dameon Pierce against the Chargers? Honestly, Warrior, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big CMC fan at all. I don't like the route that anyone takes with CMC. Good for you, but I'd rather stick with I think Dameon Pierce might be a better play. I do have I can't not think about how good in general Christian McCaffrey is. I have him currently at running back 4 in my rankings. If you want to see my rankings, just make sure you guys check out our rankings at GetRightFF.com. My rankings, Ross's rankings are usually up there, Frank's as well. But right now, I have him at 4. I'm probably going to be dropping him a lot farther than some people might like. I'm probably going to put him. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put him a step below Dameon Pierce to kind of, show you guys how much I actually think. And I think that's running back 20. So I am completely fine with playing Dameon Pierce over CMC. That's just me, but you also got to remember that game is at 4 o'clock as well. So that 4 o'clock game is going to be tough unless you have Deontay Foreman or someone else in those games that are later. I probably don't want to play him. I'd rather play Damian Pierce just because the matchups I think the matchup's pretty good too. So yeah. Drunk Squidward, I had a trade offer. It was Marquise Brown and DJ Moore for Michael Pittman. What do you think? I'm still thinking about it. No. Do not get rid of Michael Pittman. Do not give away him. Warrior Loft, love the breakdown. Thanks a bunch, Mike. Of course, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer your questions. So if you have any other questions, please throw them in the chat. I don't want to be sitting here by myself talking to myself. Like I said, I'm going to try to get through these game breakdowns and answer your questions as well as we go along. Once I get to the end, it's just going to be questions. So make sure you guys let me know what you want to do, or any questions you have that you want. I'm here for the time being. I'm not going to be here till 4 o'clock. We're not doing that anymore. Ray, what's going on, Ray W? How you doing, brother? So he goes, Mike, Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson PPR flex. Oof, that's a tough one. My heart says Chris Olave, my head says Garrett Wilson, but I think I'm going to stick with Chris Olave here, and it's really because I don't know what we're going to see with Zach Wilson. I think, honestly, we won't know what's going to go, what's going to happen with Andy Dalton, but I think Andy Dalton is a little bit more prepared and a little bit more seasoned to be able to know what to do. I know Olave is good on air yardage, which for me, yards per target, all that stuff. I think Olave can kind of adjust. Well, especially with Mike Thomas out, but less competition for targets. So I think I might go Chris Olave here. So Warrior Loft goes, what's your prediction on the Eagles defense versus the Jags? Okay. I wanted from the beginning of the season to grab the Eagles defense. I've been trying and I didn't get them. Eagles defense is probably one of the most stout defenses in the league right now, just based on who they have and how they're playing. But I really do love the Jags. They are underrated in so many shape, ways, and forms. I mean, right now they are ranked. Let's bring this up. They are ranked first against the run and seventh against the pass. Honestly, I like the Jags defense a lot. This game might be a little bit harder just because of the whole situation with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. Like, he's been playing well. I think the Jags can kind of keep him in check, but I think the Eagles might do a better job at holding the Jags back a little bit. So for me, I got to go unfortunately with the Eagles. J Media, what's going on? What's up? FF season rolling in. Mike, good to see you, my man. Good to see you too, FF season. Always glad. We got Drunk Square. We're going. Jameis Winston isn't playing right. Correct. It's Andy Dalton. Ray W. Use the Dallas defense. Yeah, I could see that against the Commanders. They did pretty well against us. So I can see them against the Commanders. All right. Moving on to the next game, which I'm surprised the numbers aren't higher. But Warrior Loft goes, right. I think the Jags might have a tough time this week. Yeah. I think they're going to do okay. I think this game is actually going to be pretty interesting to watch, just because it's two really good defenses and two up and coming offenses that I think it's going to be a really good matchup. Warrior Loft goes, Mike, the man, I want your power ranking. List your top 5 teams. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Interesting. All right. Well, the Bills are one of my top teams. Like the Bills a lot. The Ravens have been really doing well lately. So I'm liking the Ravens. A sneaky team is the Jags, man. I like the Jags so much. They're so underrated. Power rankings wise, I probably wouldn't put them at 3, but I do like them a lot. Eagles, unfortunately, are up there too. They're doing real well. Can't say, you know, anything better than that. I did like Miami before Tua went down. Unfortunately, that was uneventful. Um, yeah, I mean those teams I'm pretty high on. I like the Chargers too. I think that they can get themselves in a good place at one point. Um, yeah. I'll get back to you there, Warrior. We got Cheddarhead. What's going on, Cheddarhead? Nice to meet you. Glad that you can join us tonight. He goes, "What's up? Should I start DK or Curtis Samuel? Full point PPR league." Okay. We're actually going to be getting to. Did we already go past that game? Yeah, we're going to be getting to the. Oh, we already passed it. That's fine. I think DK Metcalf's going to be fine. I think DK is a good play this week. They're going to be going against the Detroit Lions. Um, yeah, I'm good with DK for the time being. Curtis Samuel's okay. I don't mind him, but I think Dallas they might have a hard time with. So I'm gonna stick with DK here. Drunk Squidward said Dolphins would be up there, but with no Tua, who knows? Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't, you know. FF season giving me a kicker question. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Roll with Tyler Bass or drop for Maher. Wins for the Bills game expected to be crazy. Oh no, another crazy wind game. So yeah, as memory serves me, where is the game be? Oh, it's gonna be playing Baltimore. Yeah. Yeah. Ian's gonna be sticking around. No problem, brother. Ian's sticking around. He's gonna be hitting us tomorrow. So there should be a little bit of wind gusting around in here. So anyone from Florida, my prayers are for you guys. I hope everything's okay. Hope everyone's safe. Um, yeah, that's a good question. Good question. Maher might be a better scenario just because they're kicking in a dome. The hard part is Bass is a solid play in general. So I don't know if you're gonna want to drop him. So yeah. I don't know how to navigate that one for you. I like Tyler Bass. I wouldn't drop him unless I'm picking up someone really good. Mahert's not horrible, and they've been kicking field goals lately. They are going to be in a dome. That game might be tight. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm going to give you a maybe on that one season. That's a tough one. Warrior Love goes nice. Yes. It's good to see the Jags doing better on both defense and offense. Of course. Doug Peterson's such a better all-around coach. The team has talent. It's just trying to get everybody on the same page and actually do the things they need to do. Trevor Lawrence isn't a horrible quarterback. He's actually hasn't been sacked yet, and they've been running the ball effectively. I think Christian Kirk was more than paid well, and I think he is actually way better than what people think. So honestly, they're in for good things. So Yee, what's going on, man? He goes, trade Cooks for Olave, PPR. Yeah, I would. Cooks has been underwhelming, unfortunately. I just traded away Brandon Cooks. So if you can, Olave's not a bad target. I think he has promise in this league. So Drunk Squirrel goes, crazy wins. That means the running back battle again. Oh my God. Let's not forget about the New England game. I don't think it's going to be that crazy. That game was insane. 30, 40 mile an hour winds throughout. I don't know if it's going to be that high, but it's going to be windy. So we'll have to wait and see. Drew Lario, what's going on, Drew? He goes, what's up, Mike? Maybe I'm overreacting, but A-Rob or Dobbs? Funny you asked this question. So I actually had a scenario to pick up Romeo Dobbs this week. I missed him in waivers and bidding. So for me, I was really looking to play him as my wide receiver 3. And I have A-Rob as my, wide receiver 3. So for me, I would have been more than happy to play Romeo Dobbs. I am stuck playing A-Rob. So if you have Dobbs and A-Rob and you can play one, play Dobbs. That's what I would do. San Francisco is actually pretty good against the wide receiver. Yee goes, Dobbs is getting used a lot more, which is very good for PPR. I agree 110%. I think Dobbs might be your better bet. So, all right, moving forward, let's get back on track. We got the Chicago Bears at the New York Giants. They're going to be having a legacy day in New York. So, for any of those that are listening that are going to the Giants game, you get to experience the 1980s. They're going to have the red field, the red end zones and stuff like that. It's going to be a fun day. Was just there for their Monday night game against Dallas. So, hopefully they have a better outcome in this game. Giants are favored by 2.5 points. Over under is 39.5 points. The big news is David Montgomery is going to be out for this game. For me, Khalil Herbert is the next man up. I think he is going to be a top 12 running back this week. I think Barkley's going to be a top 10 running back this week. The Bears are one of the most run heavy, teams in the league on offense. I think the biggest question for the Giants is what wide receiver do you play? At this point, it looks like Richie James might be the best option. He's probably a low-end wide receiver 3. He will be targeted and targeted often. The only other receivers on the team are David Stills and Kenny Golladay, and I put them in that order for that reason. Kenny Golladay is not getting, the passes and anything like that. So for me, it's definitely Richie James, David Stills, and who knows? Maybe Bellinger's more involved this time. Who knows? Tony and Robinson are going to be out. So it looks like it's going to be a rough game. I'm not playing Fields. I'm not playing Jones. Those guys, just get them out of your lineup. Jay Media, he goes, what's up? Jameson Williams, rest of season. Until he plays, I can't give you an answer, to be honest. Like, I need to see him play to be able to give you an answer. I wasn't really a big fan of him coming in. I don't think he's going to be playing until November. So for me, it's one of those scenarios that until I see him come in, I can't give you an answer. Sorry. I wish I could, Jay. Ray goes, if you double the Bears passing yards, they are still 32nd. Yeah, they are horrible. They are just going to run the damn ball, which is great for the Khalil Herbert owner. So if you have Khalil Herbert, enjoy playing him this week. He is going against the Giants. Giants have actually been somewhat serviceable against the run. Where are they? Oh, never mind. They are 25th. 28th, even worse. So they are doing pretty bad on defense, as much as I thought they were doing good. So yeah, they are not doing good against the run. Khalil Herbert, I'm moving him up. He will be my running back. Yeah, running back 9. That sounds about good. That sounds about right. So, sorry, Giants. It's going to be a rough start. Drunk Squidward goes, don't start anybody on the Bears except for the running backs. Worst offense in the league. Oh, I completely agree. You are not starting Darnell Mooney. He should be dropped. Cole Kmet should be dropped. The only guy on that offense that I would even consider is Ekimus St. Brown, and that's just because he's been getting the ball. All right. Warrior Loft goes, do you like Mike Williams or no? That's not Mike Williams. That is Jamal Williams against the Seahawks. Moore or Herbert versus the Giants. They're neck and neck, my friend. I mean, both teams are horrible against the run. I mean, Seattle is 21st. Giants are 28th. So it gives Khalil Herbert just a little bit of a bump, in my opinion. But they're both top 12 plays. I mean, if I can play them in DFS, I'm playing them in DFS. So They're going to be cheap, good options. That's what I'm doing. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are going to be favored by 6.5 points. Over under is 45.5. Right now, the only big question mark is Zay Jones. He's listed as questionable. Right now, believe it or not, he leads the team in receptions. So for the Jags, I'm probably going to be fading most of their options. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles they're really good against the pass. I mean, they are third ranked against the pass. They're 25th against the run. I honestly think that this is going to be a big James Robinson day. They're going to just run the damn ball as much as possible. I think they're going to try to run the ball to keep Jalen Hurts off the field. That's part of the game, is just keep him off the field. I do think that Evan Ingram is also a decent play. Eagles have been not great. They're good at shutting down the wide receiver, but not against the tight end. So Evan Ingram might be a decent play if you are on a low end. If you're one of those like streaming tight end guys, he's on the lower end of the spectrum. I mean, no one's really a good tight end right now. I mean, it's Mark Andrews, Kelsey, and then it just drops to Zach Ertz. I think he has like 20 points less than one of them. So either way, I think you're okay. And then for the Eagles, I mean, Devontae came back from the dead. AJ Brown is fine. He was out all week, but it was personal reasons, so he'll be ready to go. He was actually back in practice today, full practice. Dallas Goedert should be okay. Same stuff. But yeah, I would kind of you're kind of forced to play guys like Kirk in some situations, but I'm playing James Robinson. Travis Etienne hasn't really showed me anything. I wasted a high pick on him, but it is what it is. Sam, what's going on? How you doing, man? So we got Curtis Samuel or Terry McLaurin full PPR. See, it's hard to say to play Curtis Samuel over Terry McLaurin. I would be a bad analyst if I were to do that. I think Terry McLaurin's the smarter play. But if you really need a Hail Mary, Curtis Samuel isn't a horrible play against Dallas. Their second DB compared to, Trayvon Diggs is, the difference maker. I think they're going to be in negative game script, so throwing the ball is going to be normal here. But I think Curtis Samuel might be the better play here. But like I said, I would be a horrible analyst to go, hey, start Curtis Samuel over this guy, over Terry McLaurin, the better receiver. Like I said, Curtis Samuel might be the better play. At the end of the day, Terry McLaurin's the better receiver going against a better D-back. So for me, I think Curtis Samuel might be a better play. And, that's just me, though. Drunk Squidward, is Alvin Kamara a start with no Michael Thomas? Yes. Andy Dalton is a check down king. So definitely play Alvin Kamara here. J Media, Mike, I made a trade. I traded away DeAndre Hopkins for James Robinson in a PPR league. Regret it? No. Like I said, it's just for everybody that's coming in now, everybody coming in, thanks for joining. I really do appreciate it. When you guys give me a trade, situation, let me know about how it affects your team. Because I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, because if I don't know your whole roster, if I don't know what's going on your team, I don't know if it is a good or a bad thing, especially with trades. Start sits a little easier. I can kind of break that down a little easier as long as you give me a full list. But for here, if you trade away DeAndre Hopkins, you must be loaded at wide receiver to get, and you're kind of weak at running back. So for me, I'm okay with it, if that's what helps your team. So just be aware of that for everyone else, that's coming into the chat. Let me know if, those questions that you're wondering, just let me know kind of a brief summary of what's going on so that I do that. Oh, and of course, make sure you guys hit the like button, please. Really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting closer and closer to that 600 subscribers. And like I said, we are doing a 600 subscriber giveaway for a signed Gabe Davis jersey. So make sure you guys tell your friends, spread the word, get it out there. We're here every Sunday morning, Monday night, Wednesday night, and Friday night. I'm always here with you guys. We do our we do Sunday morning. I get you guys ready for your lineups. We do actives, inactives, a little bit of DFS. Get your lineup started with some last minute start sit questions. Monday we overreact and we help you get some waiver ads that might be, a little bit ahead of the curve. Wednesday we do roster construction. We help you with those trades and things that you need to work on. Today we do things like full game breakdowns. So make sure you guys check us out, spread the word. We'd love to have you. So Drew Lario, he asks Rashard Penny or Travis Etienne, full PPR. I also wasted a high pick on Etienne. Yeah, man, I'm in the same boat. I had Etienne and James Robinson. I played Etienne for the first 2 weeks. That was not a great thing, but I'm thankful that I've been playing Robinson lately. In this particular case, let's go back a little bit. Detroit against Penny or full PPR. Full PPR, I might go ETN, and that's just because he's used pretty well in the passing game. They're going to probably be dumping off to the back a little bit more. I think that might be the same case. Greg, what's going on, Greg? How you doing? Same answer here. I think PPR ETN is probably a good option. I mean, this particular New England game, man. Now, actually, Stevenson might be the better pick here for this one, just because, it's Brandon Hoyer. Mac Jones is out. They're going to be in negative game script for this one. Stevenson might be the better play here. So I'm going to put Stevenson instead of ETN here, but ETN over Penny. I think that is a safe bet. Warrior Loft goes, Mike, how do you see the Green Bay offense going forward? Do you see a true number one wide receiver surfacing, or will they continue to lean heavy on the two running backs and the wide receivers will just continue to be a committee? I think that's going to be the case. They're going to lean on their running backs. They're going to spread the ball out. I honestly think that that's what's going to happen. I do think that it's going to alternate every week. It's going to be Lazard or Dobbs or both or, Aaron Jones. It's going to vary. So for me, I think that it's exactly how you said it. They're going to lean heavy on the run with the two backs, and they're going to be spreading the ball out with the receivers. That's how they're built. So Greg goes, have an open bench spot. Who would you rather stash on the bench? George Pickens, Dameon Pierce, Rondale Moore, or Wan'Dale Robinson? Now, just no, that's Alec Pierce. Am I correct, Greg? Just want to be clear. It's Alec Pierce or Dameon Pierce, because the way that you worded it, I'm assuming it's Alec Pierce. I'll give you a second to respond. But I'm pretty sure it's Alec Pierce. I would probably go with George Pickens here, even though Wan'Dale is a sneaky pick with Sterling Shepard going down. All these offenses really. Is there anyone better? Stash wise, is there anyone better that you can get on the waivers? I probably wouldn't go with any of these guys in my league. Like, I see these guys and I pretty much avoid them. Rondale Moore, I avoid. I like Wan'Dale Robinson, but yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of rookie receivers, and especially Rondale Moore. I'm just not a fan of him yet. If there's something better on the waivers, I'd probably grab them. But if you're looking for the upside pick, maybe George Pickens. The kid looks good. I They're going to use him a little bit more. Wandell will get his usage too. Um, Rondell Moore, he might be used a little bit more moving forward. Anthony going, hit that subscribe button for a chance to win an autographed Gabe Davis jersey. Yes, more subscribers. The more we got, the more we can move closer to that 600 subscriber giveaway, as I mentioned before. And you're a little late to the party. Sorry. So moving forward, let's move on to the Jets and Steelers since we were talking about George Pickens real quick. So there's really no big news other than Zach Wilson's going to be playing in this game. Right now, I'm hesitating on any of the passing options for the Jets. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, or Corey Davis. I don't want to touch them this week. I kind of want to see what happens with this particular offense with Zach Wilson in it. I think that Breece Hall and Michael Carter should be fine just because they're going to have to. I think they're going to lean on him to kind of ease him back in. So I think the running backs are completely okay to play. Steelers are, Najee, Deontay, those are the only two guys I'm playing for the Steelers. Fairmouth isn't horrible tight end option if you need a tight end. He's more in the mid-range tight end, one for me. Oh, hold on. I have to. Lucius, A-Rob is driving me nuts. If I offered Ayuk and A-Rob for Drake London, is that too desperate? I wouldn't say it's desperate, but the probability of the guy taking it might be low. Because if you're frustrated, they're frustrated. They would be frustrated. So, honestly, it doesn't hurt. And I don't think you're losing much. I think you're the one gaining. So, if you have the depth, man, go for it. I feel you on A-Rob, though. I definitely feel you. Greg goes, other options are Corey Davis, Devontae Parker, Duvernay, Marvin Jones, KJ Osborne. Okay, so you got just a crap salad wrapped in crap. Duvernay's not being, hasn't been horrible lately. I think Duvernay's not a bad pickup. I think Marvin Jones for this week might be a good pickup just because if Zay Jones is out, they move into next week. I think Marvin Jones might be the hot topic just because, Christian Kirk's going to be, heavily covered. And then Jones actually is a very underrated guy. Corey Davis is another guy, very underrated. They're all, Corey Davis and Devontae Parker, that first round pedigree. So, yeah. So, Lucius, I had this same problem. So he says, thanks again. This guy sits London consistently, doing the same this week. So I was thinking, okay, may as well send something. I mean, honestly, you're better. Why not? I was in the same boat where I'm in a keeper league, so it makes things a little bit different. I sent him an offer for 2 decent picks. I think I sent him Brandon Cooks and I think I changed it, but I should have sent him Brandon Cooks and Chase Edmonds, and because he's light on running back options. Edmonds has been doing well. Figured he'd bite for Drake London, but he's like, no, I'm probably going to keep him. I'm like, okay. Don't play in keeper leagues. I'm only kidding. Warrior Loft goes, I know we are only 3 weeks in, but do you have a Super Bowl prediction? I honestly don't. But from the looks of it, Super Bowl odds, the current odds right now are the Bills and the Eagles. And I think that would be a fun one. I think that will be a real fun one, to be honest. Bills and Eagles. Right now, I'll lean Bills and Eagles, but Bills, man, in playoffs and all that, their history, it's tough. Very tough. Perry Williams, what's going on? I want to start Jamal Williams over Lenny this week, but I know everyone's going to hate, even though I almost did it last week and he outscored him. And that's not Swift. What's your take? Hey, man, do you? Like, I have Fournette at 5, but honestly, I haven't really. I've played with my rankings a little bit. I haven't really like ironed them out the way I want them to. I have Jamal at running back 12. I have Fournette at 6. I mean, they're in the same tier of running back 1. So for me, it's more feel, man. It's how you feel about the moment, and if you want to play Jamal, I think Jamal's a great play, man. I really do. I like Jamal. I'll be the first one to congratulate you if you win with Jamal and your whole lineup and with Lenny on the bench. Like, I get it. Sometimes you need to take those little bit of risk, but it is a little bit of a risk. You have to remember that. Jamal Williams, in the situations that he's come in and been RB1, he's had a rough go, and he doesn't perform the way that you want him to. Leonard Fournette has been getting the carries consistently and has been incredibly used. I know that who said it recently? Said I think Leftwich said something about they're trying to get Richard White more involved. So I don't know. I think Jamal Williams should be fine. Warrior Loft goes Perry. I am starting Herbert over Fournette this week. Go for you. Good for you. I love it. Go for it. I love it. Honestly, Perry, man, I would. And the Lions offensive line is better than the Seattle defensive line. So George Brom goes Brees Hall and Olave for AJ Dillon and Marquise. PPR, which side? I think whatever side has AJ Dillon, I'm pretty much going to say that's the side. I like AJ Dillon over Brees Hall. Yeah, I'm going to say the AJ Dillon side, and I know you have that side, so I'm just the bigger fan of the known. Brees Hall is still up and coming and going. Olave has shown promise, but he's done better with Winston. We don't know how he's going to do with Dalton. We know what Marquise is. He'll be playing with Hopkins, which is completely okay. They've been spreading the ball out. AJ Dillon is AJ Dillon, man. He's good. So for me, I'm sticking with the AJ Dillon Marquise Brown side. So Graham Gano or Brandon McManus. Thanks, man. I'll be back here tomorrow. Oh, well, I'm not here tomorrow. You mean Sunday. We'll be here Sunday. Graham Gano or McManus. Honestly, I think I would go McManus, and it's only because they're in a dome. Giants are going to be playing at home. We're getting the remnants of Ian all day tomorrow and part of Sunday. So I would stay away from the Giants kicker for now, even though he's pretty good at what he does. I'd probably stay with McManus here. They're both they're both average. All right. Let's move on to the 4 o'clock games. We have gone an hour and 18 in, and we're into the 4 o'clock games here. Yes, you will be back Sunday morning. I know you will, Perry. So we got Arizona Cardinals versus the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are favored by a half a point. Over under is 43.5. I actually didn't even think about that. Yeah, no problem, man. 9 times out of 10 for kickers, I'm going to tell you to look for the dome. Always go with the dome. It's just better. No wind to worry about. Turf field most of the time, unless it's grass, which is fine. Easy. So for the Cardinals, the AJ Green is going to be out for this game. Connor is going to be in. We'll be fine. I think the biggest question mark for everybody in the world is what's happening with CMC. CMC is questionable with a quad injury. He got a limited practice in today. Matt Rule said he is hopeful he will play on Sunday. Good coach speak. I think that he will be out this game, but this is my own thought process. It is a 4 o'clock game, so unless you have Deontay Foreman, it's hard to play Christian McCaffrey unless you have a better late game option like Fournette or something like that on your team. Um, DJ Moore is fine, but you guys should be hearing what DJ Moore is saying about Baker. Look it up on Twitter. Yeah. Uh, he was asked about Baker, and he it's bad. Greg Dortch might be a good play for this particular week. He was on the injury report with a back injury, but he should be fine. Rondell Moore is questionable as well. He's going to be considered a game time decision. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Um, all right, Spencer Wilson, what's going on, Spencer? How you doing, man? He goes half point PPR. Give Hertz, CMC, Gerald Everett, Lazard. Get Lamar, CMC. Get Lamar, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Mark Andrews. Okay. I don't hate that. I really don't hate that. I think in a way you're giving up a little too much, but I think the return is kind of even. This is something where I'd be comfortable. But you're giving 4 for 3, so the volume. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Spencer goes, I feel like I want to get out of the CMC sweepstakes. My heart can't handle it. Hey, man, I don't blame you. I didn't draft him at all. Anywhere. I don't. I think I have like one share of him in best ball. Honestly, man, if you could get a better running back out of it, Clyde Edwards is fine, but he's being out carried and out snapped by Jerick McKinnon. He's just been producing more when he's on the field. Honestly, if you can find a better running back to make that trade work, so whatever his next step up is, like his next running back, I might do that. I think you're kind of getting out. You're kind of lowballing the guy a little bit. I think you got to kind of expect, try to get a little more out of the guy because I think Clyde Edwards is a little bit on the low end. I think he went in my league for like a 10th round pick, and I went, ugh. But if you want to get rid of him, at least give him what he's worth. I mean, he's still a solid, play. So, all right, next game that we want to go into. New England Patriots at the Green Bay Packers. Packers are favored by 9.5. The over-under is 40. So, as we all know, Mac Jones is out. I'm actually surprised he's not on IR yet. He looked real hurt. Brandon Hoyer will be starting at quarterback for the Patriots. I'm not touching any of the offense on the Pats side until I can see it. Damian Harris, I might lean on. Maybe Ramondre Stevenson. One of those two are fine. Packers, I mean, Romeo Doubs is a great option this week. I think he'll be fine. Aaron Jones and Dillon are going to be fine as well. You can play Lazard. I think people are trying to figure out if Lazard is worth it now. I think he's still trying to recover, but at this point, Romeo he's healthy. So I would stick with that for the time being. All right, we're almost to the 8:00 game. We got the Denver Broncos versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are favored by 2.5. The over-under is 45.5. Hunter Renfrow will be out for this particular game, so be aware of that. I honestly think this is a get-right game for Russell Wilson. Cortland Sutton is also one of my favorite plays this week. The Raiders are 23rd against the pass. I think that they're playing. I think you're going to play everyone on the Raiders side of the ball. Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, Adams, even though he's been underwhelming. I think you're going to still go with Derek Carr as well if you're in a 2 QB league. He's still a decent play. I think a lot of people are going, what about Mac Hollins? Mac Hollins isn't a horrible option. I'd be a little bit more comfortable playing him in DFS than I would in redraft. He should finish, he finished as the RB or the running back, or sorry, the wide receiver 2 last week. So it's a little bit crazy that he actually, got the usage he did. He's not a horrible receiver. He's a big dude. So yeah, low end RB3. Where do I got him ranked? I think I put him up there for his particular position. Where do I have him? There he is, 49. I could probably raise him up a little bit, but I am at wide receiver 49. So Spencer Wilson goes, do you think Eckler will pick it up, or should I try to sell him to someone else who believes in him? If you have someone that believes in him, sell him. I have him in my league. I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to get rid of him. It's hard to watch when there's a three-headed monster and they're just not utilizing him the way that you want. They get to the red zone, they pull him. You need him to break a 30-yard run for him to do anything worth it. It's a little disappointing considering we were all on board with Eckler as a first-round draft pick. Well, at least some were. So I understand the frustration. I'm in your boat. I have him everywhere. I really was high on Eckler this year. It's just not panning out the way we want it to. But he's going to be used. He's still getting 60% of the carries. It's a 20-20 split between the other two. So, I mean, it's hard to say, man. Maybe it's the matchups. Maybe they just haven't been able to run the ball the way they wanted, to spread the ball out. But, Eckler is a PPR, PPR monster. Like, he can do well with those dump off passes. He can get anywhere between 5 to 7 touches, receiving every game. So we just I want to see his usage go up where he's getting the Mixon share, the 24 carries a game and everyone else getting like 2, but I think they're trying to spread the love. So would you do Eckler and Mike Williams for Dalvin? I have Kupp, Pittman, Sutton, and Williams in that league. I know it's a bit much, but I like Dalvin more this year. I don't know if I would for Dalvin. If you like Dalvin more, good, go for it. I don't think that's a horrible trade. I think you might be giving up a little bit too much to get a guy like Cook. To me, Cook is injury prone. He hasn't played a full, 16 game season in his career. He already showed that he can get hurt on on command. So for me, I don't know if I would do that. You do have a wonderful receiving core with Kupp, Pittman, Sutton, and Williams. I would stick with that for now. You can pretty much ride that wave. But yeah. Anthony goes, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button for us if you haven't already. So please make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video. We are here every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night here helping you guys out with whatever you guys need. So Spencer, for this, honestly, I don't think I would do it. For Dalvin, I'd maybe do it for like Aaron Jones and like a good like a decent wide receiver 2, something like that. That's just me though. I don't think a lot of teams are going to want to get 2 from the same offense. Mike Williams is a great add because of course he's going to get most of the passes with Keenan Allen out. But I mean, I don't know how many people are going to want to, take 2 at the same time. You might have to try to do Eckler and Dalvin and then sell off Williams somewhere else. So the Joker, what's going on, man? Who to start for my flex? Full PPR, Jeff Wilson, Rashad Penny, or Ramondre Stevenson? That's a great question. I think I might go with Jeff Wilson just based on the volume. I'm not really a big fan of Ramondre and Rashad Penny. So I think volume-wise, I think Jeff Wilson is the closest thing to a bell cow from those guys other than Rashad Penny. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jeff Wilson here. All right. So let's move on. Get to the let's get to the Sunday night game. We got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have the Chiefs favored by a half a point. Over under is 45 and a half. There's really no really crazy injury news here. We all know the big injuries and who's going to be in, who's going to be out for the most part. Fournette's a good play, so we're going to stick with him. CH should be fine. He's been, getting lower usage than expected, but he's producing well with what he's got, so that's always a good thing. McKinnon is outplaying him a tad more if you look at the stats. But the Bucs are a top 10 run defense, so this week might be, if you have a week to sit them, this would be the week. Wide receivers for the Chiefs with Hardman, Juju, and MVS. I'm not playing any of them. They are just so inconsistent that it's so hard for me to go, oh, this is going to be the week. Like, no, just get them out of your lineup. I think Mahomes is going to be running for his life in a lot of scenarios. Kelsey is fine. I think he's going to be a little underwhelming this week, just because I think the coverage for Tampa Bay is actually pretty good against tight ends, in my opinion. Levante David and Devin White are actually really good in coverage compared to most. I think they're going to put they might put Murphy Bunting on him or Dean, and everybody's been playing a lot better this year. So for the Bucs, Evans is fine. Godwin's going to be out, so don't rely on him. Gage might be, an option. Julio, don't expect to play. I'm not comfortable playing him. Remember, this is the Sunday night game, so I don't want any of them unless they're healthy. And the only healthy one that we know of is Mike Evans. So for me, Evans, Fournette, fine on the Bucs. Kelsey, Mahomes, probably the two best options for you in that game as well. Moving on to the Monday night game, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are favored by 1.5 points. The over-under for this game is 42.5 points. I mean, everyone's available. There's no real injuries that we can really talk about that anyone cares. Cam Akers seems to be a decent play against the 49ers, but it might be tough this week. Niners are actually one of the best defenses in the league this year. Cooper Kupp's a must. You're going to play him anyway. If I had the choice to be able to sit Stafford, I might. I don't trust him against the Niners. Wilson, I think, is a decent play. As we were talking about before, Jeff Wilson, I think he'll be fine. Rams and the Niners, both defenses are third and fourth against the run. So, Jeff Wilson is going against a really good rush defense here. But his volume is going to keep him up there. Ayuk and Samuel should be solid plays this week. So I think you should be fine with that. I honestly think that Allen Robinson is going to be the Myles Gaskin of wide receivers. You could see a touchdown this week just because he didn't have anything last week. So maybe this week is the touchdown. So I don't know. Spencer Wilson goes, do you like Sky Moore's chances to take over that wide receiver one role on the Chiefs? Maybe this year's Amon-Ra Brown? I don't see it. I don't see it. I honestly don't. He's had a couple of muff punts. Oh, I didn't even bring up your chat. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't see it. I really don't. I don't think that Sky Moore is this year's anything. I think he's going to need some time. I think he's still behind a bunch of guys. I think he's fifth on the depth chart behind Justin Watson. Justin Watson's a good piece, but he's in a real deep league if you want him. Yeah, I just don't see it. I think a lot of people, I think he's Derwin Thompson, that people were all like, oh my God, like he's that guy. Everyone thinks he's going to be good because of the system he's in and who the gadget type. I just don't see it yet. I don't see him being a valid piece in this offense with what they got. So think he's more the future. I think Mecole Hardman will work out his kinks eventually, but we'll have to wait and see. Um, so yeah, so for the Los Angeles Rams, man, that game is the last game that we are going to talk about. So if anyone has any questions to throw in the chat, throw them in now before you can't. I'm just going to run down a few little housekeeping things just to finish this out. But if I see more in the chat, I will go and answer those before I leave. All righty. So let me run down a few things real quick for you. First, just want to make sure that we get this out there. Make sure you guys are looking into Underdog Fantasy if you haven't already. Use that promo code Get right here, and when you do, they will match you up to $100. You have to put at least $10 in, but make sure you guys do that. When you do that, they'll match you. And like I said, we have Best Ball Resurrection going on right now. It's for weeks 6 through 17. So if you're going to do that, it's $10 and you can win up to $100,000. So make sure you guys check that out. Also, make sure you guys are checking out our affiliates. We also have the Check Down podcast with Cody McGoats and his crew. We also got Colin at WAGMI Fantasy. Make sure you guys check him out at wagmifantasy.com and at WAGMI Fantasy on Twitter. Great articles, it's a great website. He sends out weekly articles as well, weekly newsletters, all that great stuff. He's a great guy. Make sure you guys check him out as well. J Media goes, Mike, how many more weeks? Oh, here we go. He didn't finish. How many more weeks should I hold on to Kenneth Walker? That's a great question. Kenneth Walker, I would wait a little bit, see their usage. I'd give him another 2-3 weeks just to see what, is going on. And it's really based on your team. If you really need somebody, he's definitely someone you can drop. He'll just be more of a person that you're going to want to spend your money on to get back if you drop him. But I'd say at least 2 more weeks. Two more weeks would be my guesstimation. Yeah. So Warloff goes, what do you think of Breece Hall? Someone dropped him. If you have a spot on your bench, pick him up. Like if you have somebody that isn't doing anything, pick him up. Breece Hall is a solid option. He is not like he was a second round draft pick in this case. So Warrior, you're asking, should I pick him up? I mean, who do you have on your bench at this point that you would be able to drop to get him? That's the better question. Because I'm not picking up Breece Hall unless I have somebody that's worth dropping. And he's definitely someone I would pick up, yeah, but it's really based on who you're going to drop for him. So if you have someone that's worth it, then yeah. I mean, for me, is this an 8-team league? That's my next question. Because if Allen Lazard is your worst player and Breece Hall is on waivers, I would assume this is an 8-team league. I'm going to probably be wrong, and it's going to be a 10-team league. But that is my guess. Yes to an 8-team is my first guess, I'm assuming. Yeah. If you have better options at wide receiver and you need a running back, drop Allen Lazard for Breece Hall. That would be my opinion. If you need the running back support, I would. Oh my, Spencer Wilson. All right, this one lives true and dear to my heart just because I'm a Giants fan, so this is a hard question to ask or answer. Is the Kadarius Toney worth any sort of stash, or does Dable hate him to the point where he's worthless? Honestly, I think you can drop him. I think we've gone through the first 3 weeks. We know what's going on. I don't think you can stash him anymore. He's going to be one of the biggest waiver ads when he comes back. But for now, he's out this week. You don't need him. He's probably out next week, and he's probably out the week after that. He'll be viable when he comes back. I mean, he has no other choice. I mean, he was taking over Sterling Shepard's role, and Shepard's out for the year. So for me, I think if you have the ability to stash him in an IR spot, and like if your platform allows it, like just wait till he goes on out and just throw him in there. But if you don't have that ability, you don't have the IR spot, just drop him and just be aware that you're going to have to pick him up at another point. But I'm sorry, man. I wanted Kadarius Toney to do great things. I really did. So Jay Too Nice. What's going on, Jay? How you doing, brother? I got Najee Harris and Jamal Williams as my RB1, RB2. I just don't know who to put at the flex. My options are James Robinson, Cordero. Damn. Is this an 8-team league? Holy crap. Personally, I would go with James Robinson. That's my own personal guess. I think they're going to run the ball and run it often. Cordero is probably next. If I had to rank it, it would be Robinson, Patterson, and Connor. In my rankings right now, let's bring them up. I have James Robinson at 14, Cordero at 16, Connor at 17. So I have them literally right next to each other. So yeah, this must be unless it's a 6-team league, because this is insane, the amount of guys you have here. But it looks like you went like a double hero RB type build. You went with Harris and Connor, waited till the end and grabbed a bunch of running backs. That's my guess. Unless this is a 10-team league and I'm blind. So anyway, yeah, I'd probably go James Robinson. Sticking to it. All right, everybody. We are going to be wrapping this up in a minute. So if you have any more questions, please make sure to throw them in the chat. I'm just going to do a couple more, like I said, house cleaning things real quick. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you haven't already. We are giving it away, a signed Gabe Davis jersey at 600 subscribers. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. This will be for only eligible for subscribers. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. Here's another picture of it so you guys have a little bit of a better view of what you'd be getting. So Anthony says, thanks for checking us out today, Jay. Jay, we do appreciate it. I hope my advice is helpful. James Robinson's also going against the 25th, I think, best defense. So, yeah. Our best rush defense in this particular case. So, yeah. Spencer Wilson goes, thanks for the advice. Great points on everything. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. George LeBron, there was a trade in my league. Gibson for, I'm assuming, Gabe Davis. Who won this trade? Right now, Antonio Gibson won that trade. Just because. Anthony goes, be sure to hit that subscribe button for us. Yes. LeBron, it looks like Rasta agrees with the Davis side. Now, I like Gabe Davis better than anybody. I really do. Ooh, gotta put that away. I don't like looking at my own face, but it's nice. I like Gabe Davis, but he hasn't been producing what Antonio Gibson has. So that's just me. Warrior Loft, how do we enter to win the jersey? You know how you do it? Just be subscribed. If you subscribe to the show, you will be eligible for the jersey. So we will put out a video later on when we get up to 600 subscribers. Once we go over that mark, we will make sure to post a video. We will tell you guys what to do, and we will go from there. We will do some type of thingamajig and make it happen. And whoever gets it will reach out to you guys privately, get your info, and go from there. So make sure you guys are subscribing, and make sure you guys are watching the videos. So Juju or Curtis Samuel for PPR? I'm going to go with Curtis Samuel here just because I don't know what Juju's doing, man. Don't know what's going on. I'm a little upset. I thought Juju would do well in this offense. He's healthy. He's there. But for now, I'm going to go with Curtis Samuel. He'll have a better, situation there. Anthony goes, just needs to be a subscriber and help us get to 600. So yeah, Warrior Loft. If you have friends, if you want this, if someone wants this jersey bad, that's fine too. Just make sure you guys are subscribing. Make sure you get your friends to subscribe. If you know Bills fans, throw them in here. I know someone will want it. That Bills Mafia is crazy. I know too many people. I'm from New York. I know too many Bill Mafia fans. So get them in there. All righty. So we're going to be wrapping this up in a minute. Please make sure you guys, if you have any questions left, let me know. I'm only going to be here. I'll give you guys another 5 minutes just so that we can get your questions answered. Remember, I will be back here on Sunday morning. I will be back at 11 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be probably just about halfway with the London game that will be going on, which will be Minnesota and the New Orleans Saints. I'll have it up on my screen to watch it, me watching it and telling you guys what's going on. But other than that, we'll give you guys the actives and inactives at 11:30, and then we'll do some DFS and all that fun stuff later on. So make sure you guys check that out. All right. So lost a bunch of people. That's okay. I was wrapping it up anyway. So I will see you guys on Sunday morning. A big thanks to Frank, to Anthony, to Dustin. Make sure you guys are checking us out. Like I said, every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So for Frank, for Dustin, for here we are. Cheddarhead. Hashtag free Brett Favre. Am I right? No. Sorry, brother. He's in some deep shit. So sorry, man. Can't support it at this point. Can't support it. I'm a big Brett Favre fan, but not what's currently going on in his scenario. Alrighty. So, like I said, for Ant, for Dust, for Frank, and for the other guys that we got in the Check Down podcast, and Colin at WAGMI, make sure you guys check us out moving forward. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Later.